Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Liam. Welcome back to Young Money Investing. It's Sunday. You know what that means. It's time for another weekly technical analysis with your boy. Let's jump right in. We're looking at the NASDAQ 100 weekly chart here. Very similar structure to what we've been seeing on the S&P 500 and to a lesser extent, the Russell 2000. Descending triangle, we've got 3 touches so far, once in November of 2021, once earlier this year in April, and then once most recently in August. So we're currently at the bottom of our triangle. We are coming up on the 200 moving average, which is going to be a very big test for the markets as a whole. If you scroll back a little bit, the last time we touched the 200 was in March of 2020, and so that's the corona crash. Came down, touched the 200, and then you can see we just absolutely took off. At that point in time, that was a gain of 150% in just about 2 years. Absolutely insane. Are we going to see something similar to that this week or this time when we touch it? I can't really say. There's definitely a lot of weakness in the markets. There's a lot of bearish sentiment out there, and I think the fundamentals tell a pretty negative story as well. So we shall see, but this is definitely going to be a big test, so I would be very, very interested to see how markets play out this week. Speaking of the Russell, we are going to go ahead and jump back over to the Russell. We are currently at, or just at, about our level of support here, which is at 1655. We'll call it for easy math. So we are fairly close now. You'll remember that the Russell does like to trend a little bit, and so personally I think that the Russell is going to enter kind of a trend here. We've already broken our 200 weekly average, and so we had a trend over here. We're kind of entering a trend right here. It looks like we are going to get some sideways action. So that's what I would look out on the Russell. I would wait potentially for a bounce off of this support. Look for another top around that kind of 2000 level, I would say. And then at that point, if price action starts to come back down, I would think that we found ourselves a nice trading range, which is always nice to see established. It's easy money to go from top to bottom. So the last market I want to take a look at is the Dow Jones. Now, the Dow is something that I've been trading a lot more recently. You will kind of notice immediately that we have this gap from back in November of 2020. So that's almost 2 years ago, but that gap hasn't been filled. You will also remember me saying gap fills are one of my favorite trades to take. Very high probability of success. There's almost always follow through. So we did get a weekly close below our purple line here, our 200 weekly average. That to me says bearish. And then this white line right here at this 29,200 level is really kind of the last thing standing between us and this gap fill. If we fill the gap, you are looking at an easy 4.5%. And realistically, if we fill this gap, I would expect price to come down to about 25.9 to maybe 25.4, somewhere in that range, which would give you a much better range of about, call it 12%. So those are some things to look out for. Really quickly, I want to jump over to gold. I've been talking about gold for a while. We just got, I'm going to zoom in. We got a red candle. We got a close below our level of support, below our 200 weekly average. I think personally, gold is going to be absolutely decimated in the coming weeks. Remember, this is not financial advice. Please don't trade solely based off of the information you see here. This is just one man's take on the markets. So make sure you do your own due diligence. But personally, like I said, I think gold is going to get just destroyed in the coming weeks. Now, last week I introduced what I'm watching this week. It's a trade that I'm kind of watching set up. You know, keeping an eye on something that I might trade in my personal account. We were talking about Uber. So we were talking about Uber. We were talking about this kind of double U pattern that was getting put in place, and then this red doji candle. Unfortunately, the trigger did not materialize. We got this other brutal, ugly red candle here. Let me zoom in to the daily time frame. So yeah, you can see that we had some consecutive red candles, some slight gaps down. So overall, what I was looking for was a breach of this kind of island high over here, something back into the 33, 34 level, which never materialized, and so I never took this trade. And so at this point, I am considering this trade invalidated. I would be looking for a different setup if I was looking on Uber. I just don't consider what I saw really useful anymore. But now that we've covered that, we'll move on to this week's trade of the week, which is Enovix Corporation. Let me draw some lines real quick. Boop, doop, 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 doop. Go there, like that. This can even go. We'll go. Boop. Perfect. Yeah, that's fine. So, if you take a look right here, we are range bound. We have 1, 2, 3 taps against this top one, and 1, 2, 3 on this bottom one. Now, here's where the trade set up. This is what I'm watching this week, okay? We have a gap down from our close was 1979 to this open, which is 1803. So about $1. So we have a dollar gap down. That means that we should have some bullish sentiment in order to close that gap. Additionally, we are at our bottom of the channel here at about 1840. Price action is currently at 1852. And this blue line right here is the 50 moving average. You can see we gapped down, we came all the way down, we wicked it, rejected off, and got a close inside of the channel. That says to me, this channel is still intact. We have hit the bottom of it, and we should expect price action to continue back up. So I would be looking for a close above this wick, which is the high is 1923. So we'll say like 1925 or something like that. If you took this back up to the top of the channel, that would hit you for 36%. Not bad for a swing trade. So keep that in mind when you're out here. I hope this really helps you guys. I hope that this trade materializes. If it does and I open a position on it, I will be sure to update you guys as soon as that happens. But other than that, thank you so much for tuning in. You guys are the best. I love you all. You guys have a good week. Peace out.